What's up, everyone? Welcome or welcome back. So in my previous video, my little comeback I'm back video, I mentioned that I hadn't read any books in like probably about a year or over a year, and so I ended up finishing The Intruder, which I talked about already. And then I also finished another book called Do Not Open by Kiersten Modglin, I think you pronounce her name. Anyway, they call her, in the book world, we call her K Mod. And she has like very rapidly become one of my favorite authors. Another book that I read from her was called The Roommate, which I really loved, and that's what triggered me to read another book by her. But anyway, I'm going to talk about that book in another video. I was bringing it up because today I want to tell you guys about the books that I want to read this summer, or I'll say probably late spring, early summer, because I'm starting these books now, and it's like the middle of May. So I started talking about K Mod at the beginning of this video because it was just really on my mind, because like she's like one of my favorite authors right now. I mean, she might be topping Freida almost. And there's something that I really like about her books. I will just tell you guys up front. One of the things I like is because her books are not very long. It's like just to the point. So there's not a whole bunch of boring, slow burn and everything. And books lose my attention so quickly that I need it to be like that. And that's another reason, in addition to just not liking long books. I don't like long movies, long books, long songs, anything like that long. It also, the longer the book is, the easier for it to be some kind of slow burn is what I've noticed in the past. It just takes like forever, and you got to get halfway through the book before you realize this or you notice that, or whatever the case may be. And I just don't like to be bored, because then reading a book becomes a chore instead of entertainment for me. But anyway, enough of that. Let me tell you guys about the books that I'm going to read. I don't know if any of these are brand spanking new. So a lot of them you guys have probably already read already, but I've just been so in the dark as far as reading that I got these on my list, and this is what I want to read in the next few weeks. So the first book is from K Mod, and it is called Hemlock. The cover, I'm going to be showing it up there. It's like black and white with like a rose gold or pinkish kind of color where it says Hemlock. This book, one of the things that I did notice after I just said I like her books because they're short, it's 402 pages, which is a little too long for my taste. But if it's right around 400, I can do that. And if it's an author that I already know I love their work, I can go with the 400. So yes, this one is on my list. I definitely want to read like probably in the next couple of weeks. So this book actually came out in 2023. So what I do, I mean, you guys, of course you can go look for your own books or whatever, but I like to tell you guys what I want to read and what I like, because I want to give my little Toni spin on everything. And so there's reasons why certain books catch my attention, and I've tried reading books that just other people recommended, or it was a new release, or other people were reading it, or whatever the case may be. And when I do that, I don't normally really enjoy the book that much. And so I got to read it. It's got to really like stand out to me in order for me to stick with it. The little tagline is, a woman returns to her hometown after 13 years to face her past and discovers her new home is haunted by a dark secret. Now, if I didn't read anything else, this book already has my interest and makes me want to read it, because it says new home, haunted, and dark secret. So new homes are always fun, because that kind of makes me think that the book is going to be kind of creepy. When it's a new home, you don't know, did somebody die in there? Somebody's murdered or some bad stuff has happened, were they doing some crazy stuff in there? They have somebody captive up in the attic or down in the basement or in the walls or something like that. And so, when they mention a new home, there's going to be some kind of spin on the house. The other thing is haunted by a dark secret. I like when the word is haunted. Now, I have read a couple of horror books, and I actually plan to start reading more. But as far as movies, I love horror movies, scary movies or whatever. So when you say the word haunted, although I know like in a psychological thriller or whatever, it's probably not going to be a ghost in there saying boo, but it kind of gets my interest, because it's going to be like, is it like a chill or kind of scary kind of tone to it? And I really do like thrillers, psychological thrillers that are kind of scary, like where things kind of go bump in the night or whatever, and you know it's not a ghost or whatever, but it just kind of makes it real creepy and it really keeps my interest. So a little more about it. 13 years ago, Maggie Ellis left her small town and vowed to never return. In her rearview mirror were two men she loved and an ominous secret that would forever haunt her. Now tragedy has brought her back. I love books, storylines where, you know, somebody that escaped their hometown in some little small town, whatever, some bad stuff has happened there, or they did something bad themselves and they escaped from it. And then for whatever reason, you know, their parents died and left them the house, or they gotta get a job or something. They have to return back to the hometown that they tried to flee from. So now tragedy has brought her back and she's determined to forget that fateful night. But in a town like Myers, with familiar faces and chilling memories lurking around every corner, moving on is easier said than done. Before the ink can dry on the closing documents for her new residence, Maggie begins to feel unsettled. In every room, there's the unmistakable sensation she's being watched. The strange sounds, odd smells, and bizarre occurrences only add to her paranoia. So I love books, stories, movies, whatever, when somebody thinks they're being watched, when they are actually being watched. And this just makes the house sound even more creepier than I even thought. And so strange sounds, odd smells. Is it just rotten fruit? Is it a dead body, a dead animal? You know, what is the smell coming from? Bizarre occurrences makes it kind of like, you know, that paranormal kind of feel to it. And I really do like that in books, even when it turns out that that's not really what it is. I love that suspense to kind of keep me turning the pages. So anyway, I'm not going to just read the whole thing or whatever, but this book sounds amazing, and not to mention it's by K. Mod, which is one of my favorite authors right now, so I cannot wait to read this one. Okay, so the next book is kind of an oldie but goodie in the book world, and in particular in the Black author thriller book world. Honestly, this is probably like mentioned in another one of my videos because people have recommended this author to me many times and also recommended this book, but I've just never read it, and I really want to read it coming up in the next few weeks. And that is none other than The Wife Before by Shanora Williams. This book, I mean, I can't believe I haven't read it yet because it sounds really, really good and just also a little bit different than what I normally read. For one, it keeps saying something about romantic or something like that, and I don't think I've ever read a thriller that's been deemed as romantic or whatever. So that's going to be an interesting twist on it. Now, I don't like romance books or movies or anything, but I think I will like when you mix that with a psychological thriller, and it's just something new and something different. Not to mention I haven't read any books by this author, so I'm trying to like step outside the box. So this will be something, you know, a new experience for me. Also, one of the real good parts about it for this book is it's only 320 pages, so it's nice and short. It's not going to take long, you know, to get, you know, to the good parts, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. It gets pretty decent ratings. Let me see. This heart-pounding, twisty thriller. There's another reason why I even put this on my list. It says, if you race through Love Mom for its dark family secrets and unexpected twists, The Wife Before offers the same thrilling pace with an added gothic mansion atmosphere. And I don't think I ever made a video on this. I'm pretty positive I have. Maybe I have, I don't know. But I read the book Love Mom, and the reason why I read that book is because Freida McFadden read it and actually recommended it. And so I read it and I loved that book so much. And it was, I don't remember how long, it might have been 400 some pages, but it kept me hooked. It was definitely a page turner. There was like never a dull moment. It was very interesting, and any book that's kind of like that, they say it kind of has that same kind of theme or whatever, I'm pretty positive I'll actually like. So that's one of the reasons why I picked it up, or I didn't pick it up yet. I'm gonna put it on my Kindle. I put it on my list. So what's it about? A newlywed wife uncovers dark secrets about her husband's late first wife, questioning if her fairy tale marriage is a dangerous lie. Now, I know that little theme is kind of like in it's in a lot of books. It's in a lot of Lifetime movies or whatever. But this one gets like really, really good reviews, and so many people have recommended it to me. I know it just can't be so boring as, just some secrets, and there's a wife kept hidden in the attic upstairs or something like that. I know there has to be more to it than that. Also, they say fans of Verity, which I haven't read, but it's been recommended to me probably like 100 times. They say that they will love this book as well. And so it's Samira Wilder has never had it easy, and when her latest lousy job goes south, things only promise to get harder until she unexpectedly meets a man who will change her life forever. So she meets this rich man or whatever. They end up getting married, and they relocate out to his Colorado mansion. And so it turns out, I don't know if this was a secret or not, but it turns out she is the second Mrs. Graham. So this is his second wife. Samira settles into the mansion, blissfully happy, until she discovers long hidden journals belonging to Roland's late wife, Melanie, who died in a tragic accident. Now, yes, I've heard this story before. Actually, it sounds maybe a little bit like the book, Freida McFadden's The Wife Upstairs, I think that's called, or something like that. But I know this has got to be different because too many people give it really good reviews. With each dusty page, Samira comes to realize that perhaps it was no accident at all, that perhaps her perfect husband is not as perfect as she thought. So, this seems kind of familiar, but still, I want to take a chance on this and read it. But I know a lot of you guys have read this book. If you read this book, don't do any spoilers or anything, but drop in the comments what your thoughts were about this book, because I'm just curious to know. I'm probably still going to read it either way, but I want to know what your thoughts are on this book. Okay, the next book I have, if anybody knows me just a little bit, you're probably like, I can't believe she hasn't read this book yet, but that is Dear Debbie by Freida McFadden. So this book came out during my little reading slump or whatever, but I'm out now and I'm back. So this, of course, Freida McFadden, if anybody doesn't know, she writes psychological thrillers. She's a very popular author right now. Some people say her stuff is too light and it's not like a real thriller, and some people label it like as a popcorn thriller or something like that. I don't care what it's labeled as. If that's what a popcorn thriller is, then I love popcorn thrillers. I think some people might have said that about K-Mod as well. I like short, simple, and to the point. Not so simple where like on page 2 you can figure out what the plot twist is. Not that simple, but I don't need it getting all deep where I'm going to be depressed after I read it or anything like that. I like it light. Well, it can be not light. It can be dark. I just put it this way. I like to be entertained. If there's a little bit of humor in it, that's fine. If it's short and just to the point, that's fine. I love that, actually. And that's what, to me, Freida McFadden is. So I love her books. She's had some that I haven't loved as much. Some that actually were not that good at all. But for the most part, I love all her books. So anytime she has something new coming out, I'm going to read it eventually. This book, I don't know if I said it. Nothing I like about Freida McFadden, her books are never that long. This book has 336 pages, which is right. That's like pretty much the sweet spot for me as far as reading. So basically, I already know kind of what this book is about, so I guess I'll read it. Debbie Mullen is losing it for years. She's compiled all of her best advice into her column, Dear Debbie, where basically she gives advice to wives whose husbands are abusive, cheating on them, just being mean or whatever the case may be. So pretty soon, I think what's going to happen, she loses her job, and she finds out that her husband is keeping secrets, and she has like some kind of tracking device on his phone or something like that. So whatever's going to happen in this book, she's going to be going around, I guess, with Freida McFadden, you never know. I believe she's going to be going around getting revenge on people. And I think this is kind of book like where Dear Debbie is the villain, but she's the villain where you're like cheering for the villain. That's what I kind of gathered from reading the summary and everything, which is fine with me because there's been plenty of stories and or books and movies where I've been cheering for the villain. So that's perfectly fine with me. But this one just seems like really interesting. It's like there might be a little bit of humor in this. It might actually said that a little bit. Yeah, it says it's time for her to take her own advice, and now's the time for payback against all the people in her life who deserve it most. So this seems like a different concept for Freida McFadden's books, and so it'll be good to read something different. I've never read a book with this kind of plot or storyline before, so I'm really looking forward to reading this one, as I am all of Freida McFadden's books. Okay, and last but not least of the books that I have on my TBR so far, there's going to be more, is a book called The Nanny by an author named AJ Rivers, who I don't even think I've ever heard of. I don't think any of you guys have ever recommended this author or this book to me. you know, I always talk bad about Lifetime and stuff, but I do watch Lifetime movies. I used to watch them a lot, and I do kind of watch them a little bit or whatever. And so anytime there's something like a thriller that's about a nanny, it usually gets my interest because for whatever reason, I like nanny movies. Ever since like The Hand That Rocks the Cradle or whatever, I've always loved movies that are about thrillers that are about nannies. So what's it about? A nanny arrives at Gray Manor seeking a fresh start, but discovers dark secrets about how the children and staff are treated, leading to an investigation despite warnings. This book, you guys, it only has 210 pages. Oh my gosh. 210 pages. That is perfect for me. Perfect. I think I could probably read this in a day because I figured out sometimes I can't be a pretty fast reader and absorb and everything. And I read the book I'm going to tell you guys about in another video. I read that like in 24 hours. So 210 pages, not bad at all. That is wonderful. And to let you guys know, I actually already started this book. I've only read like a few, maybe 5 pages or something like that, maybe 10 or something like that. So I don't really know what's going to happen. I don't know enough to even know if it's good yet or whatever. But basically the nanny, where I'm at in the book, the nanny, she like works for this one family, but they're about to relocate somewhere else, and she decides she does not want to go with them. Actually, the wife, the mom, is gonna become a stay-at-home mom anyway, so they don't really need the nanny anyway. And so she's just like packing up her stuff. I know she has some kind of past or something like that, but that's pretty much all I know right now. But it's starting off pretty decent. It's not like boring, like I'm like, you know. So I wouldn't say yet it's a slow burn. And for a 210 page book, I would hope it's not a slow burn. But anyway, of course, I will do a review on that book after I finish it. But that's currently what I'm reading now. And it was on my TBR and everything. And so I'm really excited about finishing that one. So anyway, as usual, if you guys have any recommendations, drop them in the comments. Please, 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 any books that you recommend, I prefer 400 pages or less. Really, I like it to be in the 3s, and the 200s is even better. But even if you think it's an excellent book, if it's like 600 pages or something like that, I can already tell you right now I'm not going to read it. So yeah, drop those books in the comments. Any new releases coming out this summer, I want to know about those as well. And any authors you just recommend. You guys know what I like now. I like Freida McFadden and Kiersten Modglin. I think I'm pronouncing that like K-Mod. I said I'm gonna be like the people in the book world. K-Mod. I really like those authors. Those are my favorites right now at this point. There's some other ones too, but I really like them at this point. So if any authors that are similar to that writing style, I like popcorn thrillers, drop those in the comments as well. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification button so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video, and I will see you in the next one.